Not like,
I actually don't have the information on that, but that's a really good question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Focusing on delivery. They were easing into it.
I am Raul Fernandez, Select Board Member and Chair of the Small Business Development Committee. We come together at, what's a very difficult time in our Commonwealth right now to talk about, once again, how best to support our small businesses in Brookline. Cases are in the Commonwealth now at an all-time high, higher than yesterday, even the height of the pandemic. Earlier this spring and summer, hospitalizations are climbing, and deaths are rising as well, and those usually follow these high case counts. I don't like to open with talking about these numbers and where we are, but I think it's important to recognize that we are in a time that was predicted. That was predicted by scientists and epidemiologists and others that said if we did not do what was necessary earlier in this pandemic, here is exactly where we would be right now. We find ourselves trying to do the best we can to support those who need it most, even as we reckon with the policy failures of leadership at the federal level. And yes, even here at the state level. And so, it's tough to open in this way, but I think we have to recognize the context that we find ourselves in. I will say that we have a select board that has done what it can to support local businesses, that has unanimously approved every single measure that's come our way since the pandemic began. To support local businesses, most recently slashing licensing and other fees in half, and I think we'll continue to do what it is that we can to make sure that our commercial sector is able to weather this storm, and it seems that we are once again at the eye of it. So I wanted to start us there. I know that hopefully there is some hope on the horizon with vaccines in the process of being approved, and with us getting better and better at providing safer and safer environments for people. But there is no question, contact tracing has shown us that there are key areas where people are where community spread is occurring. Sadly, places of worship are one of those key areas. Indoor dining is another key area. And these gatherings that have taken place, we see the spikes that happened over Halloween, and some spiking after Thanksgiving as well, and other gathering. As we could become complacent and we become comfortable, it's easy to become immune to the fact that these cases have real impacts on real people. We see them most notably in the deaths that are occurring. Those are real people whose lives are no longer with us as a result of the actions and of both policymakers and individuals. And even those who don't meet that fate are still heavily impacted by this. And of course, then there's the financial impact of everything that we're seeing. We're seeing that as individuals, and we're seeing that as businesses as well, and nonprofits. So all of that to say, we've got to get our eye back on the ball. We've got to get better at doing the things that the scientists and the doctors and the healthcare professionals tell us we need to be doing, and stop doing the things that we know lead to the kind of community spread that have put us back in the place where we are right now. So I'll open with that. We've got some, I think, good things to talk about, and definitely want to answer any questions that are out there. We as a small business development committee, we've seen many of our own members impacted by COVID-19 and the financial fallout from it as well, and who have been unable to continue serving on the committee. So we are looking for new committee members, and this is a really good opportunity, I think, to join us because we're reckoning with some difficult issues, and we need bright, thoughtful voices at the table and a real diversity of voices at the table to help us through that. So whether you're a small business owner, a commercial property owner, whether you're an expert in public art programming, small business assistance, or just someone that lives in the community that's passionate about supporting small businesses owned by women and people of color, especially, you're encouraged to apply. Meredith is going to add some links and contact info in the chat. But please reach out to either Meredith or I if you're interested in applying to the Small Business Development Committee. We've got some terrific members right now, and we're looking for some other folks to complement those folks in the work that we're doing. We don't have a ton of updates today, so this should be might be a shorter meeting. Kara and Meredith from our Economic Development Division have a few updates for you, and then we're going to dive into some Q&A if you have any. So feel free to tee up your questions in the Q&A section. You can even write those now, and we'll get to them when the time comes. Before we do that, we do have Debbie Miller, Executive Director of the Brookline Chamber, as well as a member of the Small Business Development Committee, here to give us an update on First Light. Bring some light into our lives, Debbie.
Thank you, Raul. I also want to acknowledge what the Select Board has done, and also several of the town departments in light of this pandemic. The town has been resourceful, resilient, responsive. You guys have been great. I can't thank you enough, and I'm sure other businesses feel the same. We're really grateful to be in Brookline, supported the way we're supported. So that's great. And also along the same lines, we've always gotten wonderful support for First Light from the town, as well as all the businesses in the community. And this is traditionally, as you all know, been a fun time that we look forward to every year. There's certain events that that we have here in Brookline that mark different times of the year, and First Light is one of them. Because we can't meet in person this year the way we've done every year for so long, we moved it online thanks to Clara Kaufman. Clara and I worked together over at the Chamber, and Clara designed this amazing website that you can go to. It's firstlight.brooklinechamber.com. We have a soft opening today, and it opens officially this evening at 5:30. And rather than just 2.5 hours of First Light like we ordinarily have, this year you can go to First Light for the entire week. It's open until the following Thursday, December 10th. And this year, First Light is happening because of our sponsors, and I don't want to leave them out. Those sponsors are Elias, who's here with us on the call right now, Joby Hoy Group Compass, Brookline Bank, VIP Tires, a new business in town. Big is with us here today too, and they've been very instrumental. You'll see a wonderful trailer on that website that Corbin Rydell made for us. That's great. It's a lot of fun. And then Wicked Local has also participated, and you'll see on our website, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see all of the wonderful host businesses that are participating this year in First Light. And they're bringing a lot of fun and interesting things for people of all ages. There's sing-alongs. You'll see John Pergantis making a Yuletide roll that looks so good. I mean, I'm sure he's going to get lots of orders for that. There's Serenade Chocolatiers participating. There's some wonderful music groups. There's a dance troupe. There are a lot of DIY activities where you can pick up craft items from the library or from Feet of Clay, and then there's an instruction to teach you just how to work with that material. There are going to be giveaways, gift cards, tours, and much more. So I hope you'll tune in. And because this is online and people don't have to come in person, you can share this with your cousins in Cleveland. You can share it with your friends down the street. So please don't be shy, and please share away, and please let others know just how wonderful Brookline is.
Awesome. Thank you, Debbie. Very exciting. I can't wait to check out the content. You said it goes live at 5:30?
Yes.
Very exciting. Okay, Kara, do you have some updates?
I do. Just two really brief updates. We are really excited to report that the Select Board did vote to reduce the licensing fees for restaurants and hotels and inns in Brookline. This is due to the significantly reduced occupancy they're allowed to have, as well as the large impact to their industry specifically. So the annual licensing fees are reduced by 50%. And also, instead of being due now, this time of year, this month, they are not due until April 15th. The second announcement is just a small one. The Small Business Administration, we wanted to remind everybody that they still are offering the Economic Injury Disaster Loan program, and that application deadline is December 21st. And we'll put a link to that program in the chat box. And back over to you, Meredith.
If I can just briefly say thank you also to our Economic Development Advisory Board for bringing that that fee cut to our attention at the Select Board, and Anne, who's the co-chair of that board, and others. Just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you, and it was actually the chamber that originally brought it to our attention. So it was a group effort, and thanks to the Select Board for dealing with it so quickly.
And we are so my updates are actually going to be given by Todd, the town's transportation administrator, who has carved some time out of his crazy schedule to come and give us an update about a couple of new initiatives that DPW is taking on to support the business community.
Thank you, Meredith. One new one and one renewal. So those of you may remember that back in April, at the request of the business community, then Commissioner Papasturgeon released a general permission order for the use of sandwich boards on the public way, on the sidewalk, setting 5 different conditions. But as long as those conditions are followed, you did not have to get individual permission. Commissioner Galantine, after talking with staff internally as well as economic development staff, has extended that order through March 31st, 2021. So to carry all the way through the winter months into April 1st, when at that time we can again reassess where we are. The requirements, just a reminder, is you have to maintain a 4-foot continuous path of travel on the sidewalk. The sandwich board needs to be placed on the tree lawn or street furniture zone and not within that main walking path. The sandwich board must be placed within the area of the retail establishment's boundary frontage on the public way, so no putting them somewhere else in town or in front of your neighboring business. The sandwich board cannot be placed in the street. And in order to protect the town for general liability, you have to provide just a copy of general liability insurance policy, sent by email to my attention. Because we are in the winter months, we will be going out and inspecting, not every day, but we will notice where these are placed, make sure that all these conditions are being followed, and if not, we'll contact the business to ensure compliance. We ask that you bring these in at night and put them back out in the morning when the business is open. We don't want these out 24/7, because if we get snowfalls at night or anything along that line, sometimes these can become moved by snow or become tripping hazards, etc. And we just want to make sure the public is safe while supporting the businesses. The other request that had been sent to Commissioner Galantine by retail merchants was to allow the use of pop-up tents on the sidewalk to provide a sheltered or covered area for those who are queuing and waiting to go into the stores, given the reduced amount of people that are allowed inside due to COVID conditions. We will be releasing a general policy similar to the sandwich board, and it will be on a case-by-case basis based on the width of the sidewalk. And similarly, we would ask that, some of the conditions may be, they're not official yet, that it be put out when the store opens, brought in at night, also brought in if there's any snow or expected precipitation that could, create hazards to sidewalk plows or other plowing activities on the sidewalk. But we'll look to release that probably within the next week. And that's it.
Thank you, Todd. Yeah, the case-by-case approvals for pop-up tents on the sidewalks was something that I think we've had a lot of discussion about supporting restaurants with extending outdoor dining. And this particular issue was something that was raised by both restaurants and retailers, thinking about as outdoor dining goes away as of December 7th, and there are still the capacity constraints for people looking to get into retail stores, and then restaurants who are relying on people coming by to pick up their takeout orders. Where are they going to queue comfortably? So hopefully this will be helpful. And so in terms of we didn't have the new DPW order, which outlines all the guidelines that Todd just went through, posted yet, and then we're still finalizing the language for the case-by-case approvals for the pop-up tents, but we will distribute those through the town's business news flash notification, which if you're not subscribed yet, I'm going to pop a link in the chat and make sure that you subscribe there to receive updates. And then just to add a little bit more context to the sandwich boards, you might be wondering, like, sandwich boards, what's the big deal? Well, actually, sandwich boards are not allowed in the town of Brookline. There have been a lot of issues, particularly sandwich boards. I guess this is sort of back several years ago, but they posed a lot of challenges for people with accessibility issues. And so DPW during COVID, and DPW also, by the way, has been like MVP of the town departments in making things happen, initiatives to help support businesses in the business community. So we're really lucky. We've been comparing notes with some of our colleagues in other communities who don't have the responsive, excellent partner in the DPW. So we're very fortunate in Brookline. Side note, back to what I was saying about sandwich boards. So we're looking at this temporary DPW order as an opportunity for businesses to really demonstrate that sandwich boards can be a thing in Brookline that aren't going to present hazards to people trying to go about their business on the public way, or people with accessibility issues. So, and especially going into the cold weather months, we're going to take enforcement more seriously about the sandwich boards. I think there might be some more sandwich boards out and about right now, and Todd can confirm this, that have not submitted the required certificate of liability insurance. So just, you know, be mindful. This is a good opportunity to demonstrate. I know that Small Business Development Committee, in thinking about what COVID era initiatives we'd like to make a permanent part of our commercial areas and life in Brookline, we've talked about sandwich boards and trying to legalize those. So this is just a good opportunity to demonstrate that that is the right move for everyone in town, not just for businesses. Yeah, those are all of the updates. So I think we can transition over to Q&A. I don't see any. Oh, there's a Q&A. Wendy Mockmuller. Hi all. Has there been a recent discussion about resuming restaurant parklets in the spring? That is a good question. I will take a stab at an answer, and then Todd can feel free to jump in and add DPW's perspective. So that's certainly been a discussion from the Small Business Development Committee and thinking about what COVID era initiatives we'd like to retain. Restaurant parklets are definitely on that list. So we're considering, it would require a warrant article change to change certain aspects of the bylaw in order to make that a permanent thing going forward. And Todd, I don't know what your thoughts are going into the spring.
Yeah, so DPW is just one of several departments that have review over the outdoor dining, including building department, fire department, public health department, you know, ourselves, and police department as well. And I'm probably forgetting a couple more that also do their reviews as part of this. And we've been talking internally that over the winter, we will be working together to draft more sort of formal guidelines similar to what Cambridge or Boston or communities that do this year round or have it, you know, consistently using the parking lane during seasonal times. You know, this was a first for Brookline. I think it was a great, you know, I'll call it a pilot. I think it was a great pilot. I think the restaurants benefited. I think the you know, the patrons benefited, and I think it adds life and vibrancy to our commercial districts. And I'd like to see it going forward. So I'll be working with those other departments to try to draw up guidelines, and provided we can get those bylaw changes that Meredith mentioned. I certainly, speaking for just transportation, I'd like to see it moving forward and become a permanent part of the community.
I'll just echo what Todd said. I'll just echo what Todd said. I think it's been a smashing success. I think that there are one of the things that we're going to have to consider in the spring is parking. If things start to come back to life and people start coming out more and more, we were able to do a lot of this outdoor, these parklets, these outdoor seating in parking spaces. And that hasn't really seemed to be an issue. Thank you. That hasn't really seemed to be an issue now. But I wonder, as things start to come back to life, what pressure that's going to put on parking and people finding parking. And so we're going to have to answer some of those questions too moving forward. But I think this has been an excellent pilot experiment, whatever you want to call it, and we've learned a lot from it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how all those departments that Todd mentioned can make improvements on that experience for us.
Great. Any more questions? Okay, just as Wendy said, excellent. Thank you for your thoughtful responses. Happy to assist in any way as a resident or if you need a liaison to the health department. Thank you, Wendy. All right. Okay, well, back to you, Raul.
All right, folks. Well, as promised, this was a pretty brief meeting. I just want to thank you all, everyone that I see on the screen here, from, town staff like Meredith and Kara and Todd, to Ann, and the Economic Development Advisory Team board, and to Debbie Miller and the Chamber, and to Elias and all the business owners out there like you, Elias. And of course, to our good friends at Big. Today we have Ann and Dan helping us out, and to all the folks that are joining us. Thanks for being here and sticking with us throughout this really difficult year. Our next virtual town hall meeting will actually be next year. It's just crazy to say. It's going to be January 7th, 2021 at 9 a.m. So we'll be back. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season. Please do what you can to take care of each other, and do what you can to support our businesses during this really, really important time, whether it's buying gift cards or shopping local or eating some takeout or doing whatever it is you can. We'd really appreciate it. So thank you all for your time, and we'll see you in the new year, if not sooner. Please reach out anytime you need something. Thanks. Take care, everybody.